Okay, we're gonna do a pulled pork today, but we're not doing it in the smoker. We're gonna do it in the pressure cooker. So we're gonna start off with the rub. We got some salt and pepper, brown sugar, cumin, chili powder, paprika. We're gonna quickly mixy that guy up so that it's all kind of nicely mixed up together. So right beside me here is about a 4-pound pork butt roast. And then what we're going to do with this guy is, well, we're going to take this butcher string off of him here. And to get it ready for the slow cooker, we're going to put this guy into 4 pieces. And now that he's in 4 pieces, we're going to use our rub and cover each piece completely. And then we'll put it into the pressure cooker. All right, so now we're completely covered with our rub and we're on to the pressure cooker. So with the pressure cooker, we're going to put in some ketchup because obviously the pressure cooker needs liquid to create steam, which then creates the pressure inside. Water. Cider vinegar, and finally, liquid smoke. We're just going to mix this up, and then we're going to drop our pieces of pork inside. All right, so time for the pork to go in. All right, and inside it goes, so it should take roughly about 45 minutes or so. All right, 45 minutes is done, but we're gonna let this sit for 15 minutes to kind of depressurize a little bit on its own. And then after 15 minutes, we're gonna just quick vent all the rest of the pressure out of there. And Yahtzee! All right. The smells of this are pretty fantastic. Oh, wow. Yep. That is super, super tender. It's falling apart already. What we're going to do is we're going to let this cool just a little bit and then we'll shred it. But in the interim, we're going to work on all the juices that were left behind to add and flavor to our pulled pork. Now, you could take a big spoon and try to skim the fat off the top, or you can get yourself one of these guys, which is a fat separator. And basically we're just going to fill this guy up. The fat is going to rise to the top and we're just going to pour the fat right outside of here. So as you can see, the fat is going to make a nice little layer at the top right here. And when we pull this guy out, we'll be able to pour the top layer right off. All right, I was a bit backwards before. So you have the fat layer that rises to the top and all the good stuff underneath. When we pull the stopper up, you'll see that the good stuff starts to fill into the funnel here. So we want to keep the fat always above where the spout feeds, right down here. So we're going to come over to this bowl where we're going to keep the good stuff. And now we're just going to pour all the flavorful stuff minus and keep the layer of fat inside there. Now if you watch the spout, you should be able to tell when the fat is starting to enter, which it is right now. And there we go. What we're left with is just all the fat that was at the top and all the good stuff here that we're going to use for our pork. And as you can see here, we've fully separated basically the juice. All the fat is over here. All the good stuff is over here. All right, this is so tender that I don't need 2 forks. As you can see, the pork is just going to fly apart. And once we have this kind of all ripped apart and shredded, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that good juice that we separated to make a nice lovely sauce to put back into the pulled pork. And then we're going to make it into some sandwiches. Okay, so now that the pork is pulled, this the juice is kind of separated. We're going to put that in there, and we're going to put this to like a high boil, kind of on the highest saute setting. And we're going to reduce that to about 2 cups to really concentrate that up. Okay, so we've boiled this guy down to about 2 cups now, so it's really concentrated. We're going to add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a really good pinch of kosher salt, a little bit of some black pepper for seasoning, and just to kind of help that acid out, probably a good pinch of brown sugar. So I'm going to keep playing with the seasonings until I get it to where I want it, and then we're going to put about half of this back into the pork before we eat. Okay, so we have about 1 cup of the sauce. We're going to put that back into the pork, kind of toss it around, and then we're going to get some buns ready and make some pulled pork sandwiches. Okay, so before we take a taste, this is America's Test Kitchen kitchen gear. It's actually a book that will help you kind of choose what you need in your kitchen and give you recommendations based on their trials and tests and all that stuff. Fantastic book, but it's also full of really good recipes as well. And here we go. Oh, it's fantastic. There's like nice vinegar sweetness to it. The pork is super, super soft. I'm used to having pulled pork with like really thick barbecue sauces off the counter and stuff like that. So this is kind of nice actually. It's it doesn't taste overly sauced, but it's strong enough that it like powers through everything else. So if you're interested in this book, and I highly recommend it, there will be a link for it in the playlist description. And yeah, we'll see what we dig up next time.